And 14 National Collegiate Paintball Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. Next up, right now, Florida State Seminoles going to be taking on the Akron Zips. And we just watched an awesome game between the Connecticut Huskies as they got defeated by the Fresno State Bulldogs. So hopefully we can see a similar matchup here between the Seminoles and the Zips. And then after that, we'll take a short lunch break and we'll come at you with tons of awesome games this afternoon. 4 more matchups coming at you before we end the day. So here we go on the breakout. It's going to be the Akron Zips on your right-hand side and the Seminoles on your left. And here, look at this, Akron, they make it to the snake first, but Florida is right there with them. Both players at the 50 shooting inside. I do not think they know that they have a player on the other side of the field. The referees or their coach is telling them right now, so somebody is about to get stuck. Let's see who's gonna be the first to push forward, and it is Akron, and a major penalty. Oh, it's gonna be assessed on Akron. So Florida gets a gift here. Oh, no, wait. No, he's telling him to get to the box. The Akron player thought that he was going to be able to get back in there alive. Oh, man, that did not go well for them. And it looked
that's
like
a rough way to start
yeah, it looked
first
like
game, but then Orozco just gets ripped apart by the snake side corner of Akron.
No, yeah, that was Boyish. I think that was Boyish in the snake for
Akron.
Yeah, so didn't work out well for him. Bodies drop on both sides. Still with the player in the snake right now is Florida. So Florida State, you can see there they have 2 players now trying to spread the field. They're talking it up. That's good. You need to have that communication. The front player on the snake side was like, hey, spread the field. I'm good to go over here. There's just 1 player left alive. Back corner bunker for Akron. So he's going to have to battle and try to take this to a one-on-one by winning a gunfight here. It's really tough to do. And then now Florida pushing forward on the snake side, getting on the inside part of the snake, called it the highway. And then now he's going to giddy up. And he chooses to go inside, even though the gun was looking inside, but still able to trade out. So just 1 player left alive for Florida State. That's all you need to hang that flag.
Wow, so Florida State, you know, both teams got in there right into that snake right away like we saw. But Florida State, you know, getting that major penalty on Akron, that's going to help them out a lot now here. But, you know, I really like the breakout for both sides of the field. That's Orozco right there, the player who actually got bunkered. And then here you see Florida State coming in and making that move to close out the game. And there he is getting bunkered on the inside as they trade out. So, and like I said, I really like the breakouts from both these teams. You know, we saw them both attack the snake hard. Their 2s both shot heavy on the snake side, then made their bumps in. But, referee down the field right now has one of the Florida State guns. Might be checking it.
That's never a good sign. Anytime a referee comes over and asks for your gun, a little bit of fear seeps into your heart because, you know, there's a limit capped on these guns. You're only allowed to shoot 12.5 balls per second. If you exceed that, you are going to be assessed a penalty. And then depending on the severity of how fast, the gun can only shoot 300 feet per second and only 12.5 balls per second.
When this game is played the right way and all the equipment, we talk about how important equipment is, you know, everything is a safety issue, okay? And the referees are checking for everything out here, like you're talking about, the speed of the guns, the balls per second. And honestly, I think that this player's tank got taken right now because it was out of hydro. Wow. These compressed air bottles, you know, good job by the referees. Yeah. We're looking for this stuff. These compressed air bottles have 15-year lifetimes on them, but every 5 years you have to retest it for safety. You can't be pumping one of these tanks up to 4,500 pounds without making sure that it's a safe bottle to be using out here. You're putting yourself and other people in danger. So, you know, all these rules, you know, are meant to keep everybody safe.
Well, paintball is an incredibly safe game, other than the bumps and bruises you're going to get and welts. But if you stick with the regulations, that's why they exist. They exist to keep a safe framework surrounding the competition. So yeah, that was a good pull by the ref. If he was able to catch a bottle that was out of hydro.
The referee, I mean, it was an Angel Air bottle. WDP's been out of business for several years. That bottle was 7 years out of hydro.
Wow. Well, so here we go. Now that the refs are keeping everybody safe out there, and it looks like Akron now keeping 5 bodies alive off the break, or 4. They still have a body in that penalty, 27 seconds left on that penalty. And then here comes Florida State as they dive into the snake. You're looking at Akron's back line right now, and now on the D side trying to keep things going. Oh, they lose a body though, right on that D side, insert fill bunker. And then here comes Akron now pushing up the field, but he does not realize that Florida State still has a player left alive in the snake, and he gets eaten up. You cannot do that. It's going sloppy. You can't count the bodies as you're moving up the field. You count the bodies from your bunker, and then when you make a move, it has to be a quick, concise move. You can't just sloppily move up the field like Akron just did on that D side. So Florida State's last player is just wheeling and dealing in the snake right now. He got 2, but finally he gets eaten up by that last body there. It looked like Akron still had one of their back players left alive in the corner bunker on the snake side. So nice job by Akron to tie this game up at 1.
Yeah, Akron, you know, with their big man jumping out to that Dorito side, then filling all the way back across over here to the snake side, just had more bodies when it came down to it at the end there. But, you know, there you see Flanders on your screen with Patron.
Yeah, so you're looking at the replay here. That's the last player left alive for the Seminoles. He'd already shot 2 guys before he finally got his eye dotted right there. And you can see here, boom, and did he shoot him on the top? Yeah, he jumped over the bunker. What an awesome, unconventional move there for the last player left alive. And then you saw there's the big man making a huge fill all the way out to the back bunker. That's a giant bite, man. You normally need to be careful and take smaller bites than that, but he used his timing. You know, that's the thing, man. You know, paintball, yeah, it helps to be slow and, or sorry, to be small and fast, but the gun's the great equalizer. We've seen a lot of good big men over the years.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's used to taking giant bites. You know, gets that fill in there and then protects his snake guy by getting to that corner, you know, and then creating the space on the outside. So, you know, what happens is when you're the widest guy on that side of the field, you know, you force that 50 snake guy. You force that 50 snake guy to have to respect the corner. You know, if you don't have to respect the corner, then you can just wrap the inside and go to work on those guys that are set in on this snake bunker.
Yeah, well, now that it's tied up and both teams, oh no, FSU, they have a penalty. So 55 seconds remains on their penalty. So they're going to be down that crucial body off the break. Again, you're losing 20% of your firepower when a guy is in the box because you have to start 4 on 5. So just about 10 seconds to go before the start of this next point. Close match here thus far. 1-1 is the score. Akron bottom portion of your screen, they're going to be on the right, and FSU on the top there on the breakout. And then here we go. So looks like a body is going to come off, for 2 bodies coming off for Florida State here early on, Todd. And Brennan able to get into the snake for Akron, and he just starts destroying the center of the field. That's what you can do from that spot. Those are where your best shots are if you have no pressure coming at you straight ahead. But it looks like Akron, they get a penalty of their own, and Brennan has absolutely no idea that his team just got a penalty. And actually, did they get 2 penalties? I think Akron might have got 2 penalties, Todd. Do you see 2 guys in the box over there? Or is that the coach? Oh, that's a ref. Yeah, that's a ref.
Yeah, Akron got that 1 penalty, you know, over here on the snake side. They're still, Florida State's still serving that major from the hydro bottle. So, you know, Akron, they want to run that flag in. They can play down, you know, they have the lead here, but, you know, leave Florida State, don't let him come out on that major. You know, they want to keep playing with the 4 bodies on 4 bodies. No problem for them because they have the lead, and it's going to be a 4-on-4, so no need to try and wait, let that time run off.
Yeah, well, we got ourselves a 1-point game here. 2-1 is the score. Both teams with penalties. 6 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the first half, and we'll be right back after this.
They say don't be perfect, be clutch. Being clutch is one of my biggest assets. You can rely on me to be clutch, and I rely on the Vanquish. My name is Damian Ryan. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level.
So it is a 1-point game. Akron slight lead, 2-1. Can Florida State put some points on the board. Both teams will be starting down a body here at the NCPA Championships. I'm Maddie Marshall with Todd Martinez. And Todd, man, I'm happy to be out here. I love watching this tournament every year because of the camaraderie between all of these college teams. It's different than a PSP. You know, when you go to the PSP tournaments, it's you know, very antagonistic. These are, you know, everyone's highly competitive even here, but there's just this brotherhood amongst the college teams that's really cool to see. And then also we get to see who are going to be the next up-and-coming stars in the college championship league. And every year we see new guys rise to the occasion. So this year already we've seen a couple names start to be thrown out there. Matt Dean from Fresno State really stepped up. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. But look at this awesome stabbing here at the 50-yard line on the snake side. As you see, Troni walking off for Akron. No one in the snake for both teams right now. And it looks like no one on this side of the field for Akron. 2 players for Florida State. They need to seize this advantage, though. Those guys, I don't think they know the count right now, Todd. Yeah,
Brennan got shot out of that snake side corner just as that exchange happened in the 50 snake. And Akron unable to react. They're losing a body off the Dorito side, but getting their player out of the box. Florida State out of the box as well. Florida State, big mistake right there, actually able to make up for it by getting a shot in Akron, who bumped out here to the snake side of the field. But Florida State had the opportunity to get back into that 50 snake right there and close out the game, but they just had the big body advantage. Still 4 bodies left alive. The only player they lost was that one in the snake. So, you know, coming back a little bit here, both teams get their bodies out of the box, and Florida State going to hang this flag. Watch this replay as you see both Akron and Florida State get a body in the break, and Florida State taking the initiative, coming in and painting the face of the Akron player right there in the 50.
That's always a nasty one to clean up when you have to get back in the pitch. You're spitting paint out, might have a little bit of blood on your lip. And, you know, when you get shot 3-4 times in the face mask, it feels like somebody gave you a quick, you know, little quick jab. But still, regardless, nice work by FSU to tie this game up here. And as, you know, Akron didn't have enough of that push. It was Addison Winstead, the big man for the Akron Zips, left alive back there. Just really couldn't do it, though. Well, let's check in with the 3rd member of our broadcast team here, Amy Campbell. She's down in the pits with Akron.
Yeah, Maddie, in the Akron pit, obviously not happy about that last point. Their coach said, guys, we have to get in the D side more. We have to really establish a presence there. But still, they're remaining calm. They said, take a few deep breaths. Let's not make the mental mistakes. Again, a theme of a lot of the games that we've already seen today so far, guys.
You always, Amy, exactly. You always have to maintain your composure, regardless of what's happening. It doesn't matter what the score is, how many penalties you have, what's happening with your gear. You have to stay focused out there, because if you start to get rattled, you're going to start making mistakes. And ultimately, paintball is about it's about utilizing your game plans and the skills that you've developed and making the fewest mistakes possible. And we've seen teams fight through mistakes so far today. Florida State Bulldogs did that in the last matchup, and we saw the Liberty Flames, after having a disastrous first half against East Carolina Pirates, they came back to win that game 12-5, completely shutting the Pirates out in the second half.
11 points in a row they scored.
Nasty.
11 points in a row, shut out ECU. So anything can happen out here. It's about how focused and determined you are when it really comes down to it. And here we see Florida State once again and Akron both going into the 50, and it is time to do work as they trade out. I mean, if both teams make it, that is the best thing you can do for your team. Get in there, get the other body out, protect your Dorito side of the field, and let them go to work. Now the 2s need to go to work. Florida State, they have one body over here, and here he comes. He is going to go into Snake 1. Attacking up the middle is Akron, but going to be a tough spot for him to play as long as Florida State can crawl into this 50 and be smart about how he plays. But Florida State loses another body, and here comes charging from the middle of the field. Ooh.
Did he miss him?
Yeah, no, he got him. So another trade out. A little unconventional coming from over there, but good move just to get him off that side of the field, opening the door for Michael Flanders to come through the middle of the field and bunker out that last player from Florida State. So Akron doing a good job right there. 3 bodies still left alive as Carpenter is going to go and hang that flag for Akron and put another point on the board.
Man, I love how fearless both these teams are. I'll tell you what, is that Pepe from Florida State? Man, he was literally chicken winging as he's walking off. You know when you take like a half a dozen, maybe you know, maybe a baker's dozen, right in the lower, soft, awesome spot, like right underneath your armpit.
Oh, yeah, right there where it feels real good.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me kind of get the willies just thinking about all the times I got bunkered over the years. But it's great when you stick somebody there because you get to see him chicken wing. But poor Pepe walking off, man, he took one hard. But let's look at this aggression from Florida State here in the snake and able to get that kill. And then, bam, that next run through. So just back and forth run throughs. You know, first Florida coming through on the run through, and then all of a sudden Akron 2 run throughs of their own to go up 3-2 here with 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go.
Yeah, lucky not to catch a penalty out there on that move. I mean, Akron kind of came out of nowhere when your coach is yelling, he's coming, he's coming. You never really expect the guy to be running sideways at you from that A. But, you know, on the trade out, good move right there by Akron. Freed up this whole side of the field, and then their middle players were off on the attack.
So we got about 50 seconds to go before the start of this next point. So let's check out that last run through.
Getting airborne.
But that's what I like.
Jeans.
Well, that's what I like about this layout, Todd, and also this snake, is that there's so many different ways that you can come through. You know, depending on what's in front of you, depending on where you're at, you know, there's at least a half a dozen ways you can run through on this snake side, depending on how the bodies are staggered. But I just love the mentality that both these teams, they came to play. No one's hiding. Everyone's just totally willing to run into the breach and try to make it happen for their teams, completely fearless out there, and that's what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, fearless paintball, you know, it's the only way to play. You know, if you're going to be successful, you got to be fearless, number one. You got to be aggressive. You got to be smart, understand the situations. Akron doing a really good job of that right now. Well, they go, both teams go face first into the snake, but this time Akron is going to be able to get in there with no contest. And oh, here comes Florida State, loses their body on the break, but right coming there, 2 runs down and bunkers out the snake 50 of Akron. So Florida State loses 2 bodies right away off that snake side, but Akron loses the body off the snake side and off the Dorito side. Now Akron's going to need to make a fill over here to the snake side, and he does make it out there alive. So Florida State now with the snake corner with the Dorito side can. Akron player tries to make a bump from that Dorito tower into the inset Dorito. Gets shot in the face, but it bounces. So he's still alive. Oh, no, referee ends up pulling him out. So 1 body over here alive for Akron in the snake side temple, still in the gray area. As he gets a shot in on the 40 Dorito, Florida State bounces him in the head.
Oh, man, that was a gift that he got from the paintball gods there for Florida State. It took a bouncer. If that one had broke, it would have made it a one-on-one.
Oh, and he does shoot the Florida State player who bumps up into the snake. Should have gotten into his bunker a little bit closer, played too far off the back of it. The Akron player got a drop shot in him right over that mini race bunker outside of the snake. So the Florida State player in a one-on-one in his second life coming down the Dorito side of the field versus Akron, and that one's not going to bounce as the Akron player in a 2-on-1.
Not only was it 2-on-1, Todd, but he's actually shot that guy on the snake side twice. The first time it bounced off his head, the second time it counted, and then he also got a shot in on the snake player. So masterful gunfighting by Akron right now. If you take a look at this replay here, this was that first rundown. Here comes Florida coming to run down the plane. They, you know, that's what we're going to see this all weekend long. This is how it's done over here. As soon as you see that angle, you take the move. Beautiful work. And then on the flip side, that's on the D side of the field. Boom, he's going to walk off. That was that last player left alive for Florida State on the D side of the field.
Yeah, great job right there. I think that might have been Hirsch.
Yeah, so with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to play here in this first half, the score is 4-2, and we'll be right back after this. So Akron zips up 2 points here against Florida State University. You know, this has been an awesome game. You know, we're seeing lots of aggression out of both of these squads. Still some time left in the first half and a whole 10-minute period in the second half to play. Hopefully we'll see another close match like we did when the Huskies played the Bulldogs right before this. But the cool thing that you see as the tournament progresses is that these teams really start to master the field. They start to figure things out. They watch other games. They see what's working out there. They try to emulate that style and those game plans. And but most importantly, it's the mental aggression. You know, are you willing to push forward? Are you going to hide? And we haven't seen much hiding today. It's been awesome.
Yeah, you know, and this field layout plays to that. You know, you got to get up the field, get aggressive. You know, I like what we're seeing from both teams over here. Take the snake on the break every game, see who makes it, and then crash into each other at the 50. And here we go once again, both teams off to the 50 snake. Both teams make it in. An expected bloodbath coming. Looks like the Florida State player might have crawled too high and got shot in the pack.
Yeah, you got to keep that pack down, man. You cannot crawl that high up. That's a field walking mistake right there. It's an execution thing right there. You cannot do that. And so they're going to lose a body. So it's just Hoster for Akron right now in the snake. You can see over the shoulder, he's shooting cross field. That's exactly what you need to do. And the Akron coach is losing it over here. He feels the refs are not calling these guys out fast enough. But regardless, those kills have counted. Now Florida State's in position, and Akron has got to be telling us, guys, right there, they have another body. If Florida State prevails in this situation, oh, it's nasty! What a beautiful move by Akron as bravo for Florida State. Whoa, so Akron and Florida were in the 50 together, and Hoster comes inside, shoots Pepe in the back. No, shoots Bravo in the back. Beautiful move right there by Akron. That was crafty.
Wow. Timing is everything. Coach is standing there. You know, the Akron coach is letting his player know what's going on, gives him the opportunity to go get him. Florida State a little bit too slow. His coach, you know, maybe not giving him the info quick enough.
Yeah, you got to give the assist to the Akron coach right there. I mean, I don't know if he told him to go inside or not. My God, let's see if we get this on the replay. Look at this. So there's Akron there on your right and Florida State on your left, and Hoster dips inside, boom, blows the pack up, and then tries to stay alive. He's not able to do it. He comes off too, and we can see this from another angle here. Hoster, he's like, all right, okay, he even looks too. Head checks inside, realizes he has the chance to make the move. He does, he makes the move, decimates the pack, and Bravo walks off screaming, but it's not enough. And there's the last kill, getting sloppy in that gunfight, and bam! Drops the hammer. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is aggressive play from both these teams, and it's making for a very entertaining day for us. Akron Zips 5, FSU 2, with 48 seconds to go here in this first half, Todd.
Yeah, and Akron not scared to launch from anywhere on the field, coming from all over the place. As soon as they see the opportunity, they are gone. And, you know, serving them very well right now as they're up 5-2 against FSU. Just about, you know, just under a minute left to go here, but Akron definitely in control of this first half, you know, playing very aggressively. I'll give it to Florida State, though. You know, they're making those attacks on the break, but once they get in there, you know, the player has to wait, listen for his coach to tell him what to do, then go around. It's not like instinctual. It's not happening like a bang-bang play.
I agree, and you know, and you could disagree with me if you think this, or if you don't think this, but I think that where the lapse is for Florida is that Florida State's having a hard time with their mid players, their twos. Their one on the snake side, he's actually been the aggressor, I feel, a little bit more than Akron has, but there's no follow-up.
Yes.
You know, and that comes to his back players shooting lanes for him when he makes those moves, try to get those kills and stop the twos, the mid players from pushing forward after those initial clashings at the 50-yard line. And that's been the big problem for Florida on this snake side of the field. Akron's mid players and their back players are doing a better job than Florida State's players are.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree with you on that. And, you know, Akron, you can see right now, you know, with that 5-2 lead, they're definitely playing better in that second, third stage of the game. But Florida State continuing to attack right back into the 50 snake. And this time Florida State gets into the 50 snake on the break, and the Akron player gets shot. But for the second game in a row, actually, the Florida State player gets shot in the head and continues to crawl down the snake. He made it in, and through that same cut, the Akron player standing tall on the Dorito side shoots down right in front of that snake 2, the tall cake in the snake. And that is how he's getting that shot in on the Florida State player. Just bad fundamentals once he gets in there.
Todd, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Bad fundamentals for Florida State as we, looks like I don't know, who conceded that point?
I think all the bodies died on the major. So the point automatically ended because the snake player got a major, and there was either just one body left the pole. So
well,
I think that was it.
But back to that point, yes, fundamental issues for the front player over here on the snake side for Florida. This is a couple points now. We've seen him either crawl too high, or at that time he got shot in the side of his head. He's not even wearing headgear, so it shot him in the side of the head, and he continued to play with that beacon just gleaming off of the side of his dome. And that's going to get you a major penalty 10 times out of a 10. You cannot do that out here if you want to give your chance you want to give your team the best chance to prevail. Regardless, Akron now going up 6-2 against FSU and really starting to pull away with this one.
Yeah, I mean, FSU, it's not for the lack of effort trying to get down the snake. It's just not making smart moves when you get there. You know, effort is the #1 thing. You know, hard work. You know, that's what gets you in the door. You know, they're walking up to the door, but you know, Akron is standing on the other side of it, just kicking it right back at them as soon as they get up there.
Yeah, Akron looking really good. It was a really close match in the beginning, but Akron, and we still have a whole second half to play. 16 seconds left here in this first half. Can we see a 16-second point? Absolutely. At the Dallas Open on the same layout, we did see a 16-second point. We saw a couple of them actually, so it is possible. But how quick a point goes down really comes down to how many bodies drop off the break. So unless you see lots of bodies, 2-3 bodies drop for one team and the other team still have 5 bodies left alive, we're going to see the point mute. We're not going to see any points scored. We will head to the second half. Also, what's going to help Akron potentially score a quick point is that FSU has that 2-minute major, so they will be down a body. And look at this. Howard not even able to, and he still has a giant hit on the side of his head. No one come on. Howard is just blowing it with fundamentals over here, and really got to tighten it up a little bit if Florida State wants to prevail. So it's not going to matter, though. Time's going to tick off. But, yeah, Florida didn't even get enough bodies out as the man that got the penalty, I believe that's Howard, wasn't even able to get out. And then when he ran out, he still had a hit on his head. Now, I know he's going to the box, so maybe he can wipe the hit off there. But still, fundamentals, man. You know, it's the small mistakes that are going to really change the outcome out here. Uh-oh, the big man looks like he's rubbing his shoulder for Akron Zips. It's Anston Whitehead there.
Yeah, Whitehead, I don't know if he took a spill going out there. He got shot in the goggles. Here goes Whitehead. Gets shot, makes the dive, and makes that hard cut out to the Dorito side. And
it immediately goes down in pain.
Himself.
Yeah, you know, came down real hard on that left shoulder. Really unfortunate. Hopefully he's okay. So let's check in with Amy Campbell down in the pits.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Nick Bravo from Florida State. Tough first half for you guys. Where are they giving you the most trouble?
I think it's a lot of unforced errors on our part. On the very first point of the game, I hung the flag, and then I got a 2-minute major for having a tank out of hydro. So that's just not even paintball really. It's just put us in a hole early. And then we got a major with under a minute left. 2 points ago, we were just trying to kill the clock, and that was an automatic point. So just too many penalties in that first half, but we're going to turn it around in the second half.
There's another half to play. What are going to be some of the keys for you guys to overcome this deficit and get that victory?
I just think with those penalties, you know, people kind of like get flustered, like there's a little bit of bickering, and your head's just like not on like the next point. So we're just going to put that behind us, and just that was first half's over. We're not going to dwell on it, and we're going to come out here and do our thing the next half. Great,
do your thing. Best of luck. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Amy. Yeah, so we're going to be right back with some second half action here as FSU taking on the Akron Zips. The score is 6-2 in favor of Akron.
They say don't be perfect, be clutch. Being clutch is one of my biggest assets. You can rely on me to be clutch, and I rely on the vanquish. My name is Damian Ryan. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level.
All right, so we're going to be getting to some second half action here in just a few minutes. 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go before the start of the second half. And man, Akron has really been incredibly impressive, Todd, as FSU just really not able to win the aggressive battle in the beginning. They're fighting it. They're definitely getting into the spots, and they are playing aggressive. But really the story of this match, there's been some penalties back and forth. But unfortunately, you know, Akron, their twos, their mid players have been playing awesome. That second punch, you know, paintball, it's like a boxing match. You want to throw punches in bunches. You don't want to just start plugging away with a jab. No, you want it back and forth, and that's exactly what Akron's been able to do.
Yeah, Akron's doing a really good job of taking advantage of the opportunities that Florida State's given them. You know, like we were talking about in that first half, Florida State, they'll run to the snake on the break, maybe make it, maybe not, trade out, and then Florida State has no punch after that. Akron is doing a good job of seeing the situation. Their twos are getting up the field. They're not even, Florida State's really not even putting that much pressure on Akron on the Dorito side, which in this, you know, field layout in this case right here, the way that Akron's playing, that's what Florida State needs to do. If Akron's going to focus so much attention on this snake side on the break, they need to take that first 15 seconds, and really just hit that Dorito side hard. At least make them worry about it, at least keep them honest on that Dorito side of the field, and then try and get a punch, you know, some sort of secondary punch up the field on the snake side.
Yeah, I totally, that's a perfect breakdown, but we'll see if they can actually do that. But before we get to the second half, let's check in with Amy Campbell down on the sidelines.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I just spoke with Addison Winstead from Akron, the player who injured his shoulder a little bit. He said he's fine. He's going to keep playing. What happened was he slid, and the barrel of his gun went into the ground, and that kind of jammed his shoulder up out. But he said he's going to be fine. He's shaking it off pretty well there. He's a tough guy over there, so you'll look forward to seeing him in the second half, guys.
Yeah, and it looked really bad on the replay there. As you could see, as soon as he punted his shoulder into the ground, you know, I don't know if it came out of socket or exactly what happened, but he instantly went into the ground and wincing in pain. But it looks like he's going to be back on the field for the second half. Not out there for this point, though. Both these teams starting at full strength here.
Yeah, oh, looks like Florida State gets a body out here into the 50 snake again, standing up over the top and just destroys the Akron player in the 50 snake. Finally, Florida State able to gain the advantage. They do get going up the Dorito side a little bit. And here come the twos of Florida State, finally getting some kills early and getting into this game. You know, this could be a little bit, you know, of a break that they needed their halftime to kind of regather and try and get something going here. But, you know, 1 point put up on the board for Florida State. Get another one right after that, get a little bit of a run going, try and get back in this game.
Well, they definitely need to start, like, steal that momentum from Akron, who really started building it as the first half was playing itself out. So FSU comes out here, they score a quick one. That's a great job from them. And not only did they score the point, but they had a lot of bodies left alive. They look good doing it. Let's check out this replay here in the snake.
I want to know how the Florida State coach isn't letting his guy know. You know, like we've seen several times, Florida State player gets in there with the Akron player and comes up over the top like he doesn't know that the Akron body is in there with him.
And the coaches are right there. They're right on top of him.
How close is he?
I mean, we're talking 3 feet.
3-4 feet
Maybe, yeah, at the most. They're right on top of him. You can kind of see them in some of the replays. The coaches are hovering right over their players in the snake, giving them information, telling them what they need to do. It's like kind of, it's the, you know, call it the sixth man. And it plays a huge factor a lot of times. But regardless, score now 6-3, still in favor of Akron, but Florida State University, you know, this is what they need to do. They have a whole second half to try to run up some points and tie this game up. We've already seen that happen so far in this event when the Liberty Flames completely decimated East Carolina Pirates in their second half of that matchup and ended up scoring 11 unanswered points to finish the game 12-5. So they scored 11 points in the second half and 1 point in the first half, Todd. And that is what, you know, Florida is going to have to kind of muster some of the magic that the Liberty Flames were able to bring in their first game.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen out here. You know, we got a stop clock, 2 10-minute halves, plenty of time to go back and forth. We've seen runs, you know, that UConn Fresno State game was a perfect example of how, you know, teams can just battle back and forth for 20 minutes, and then at the very end, you know, make a little bit of a push and try and gain a lead. But, you know, we saw Akron, you know, as good to see Addison back out there, Winstead on the field again for Akron. But, you know, as we saw Akron out there the very first half come out and just play really solid paintball, but Florida State, again, shooting themselves in the foot, going to have 2 bodies in the box to start this point, and the referee going to run over and pull the 1 body off of the snake side. So only 2 bodies, drop another one out of the Dorito side corner, 1 body left alive for Florida State here. So just as they try and get some momentum coming out of halftime, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot, get a couple penalties, start with 3 bodies alive, and get destroyed by Akron, who's going to run that flag in and try and maintain all the time he can on these major penalties.
Well, that is, you know, though Florida was able to score that last point, those penalties, you know, penalties are killing them, man. Penalties are killing everybody today. So, but knowing that, if I was a team heading, as we see these replays here, look at these last players converging on the last player left alive there. But knowing that the penalty flags are flying today, if I was a coach or one of the leaders on one of these teams, I would be letting my guys know, hey, look, penalties are going to happen. But when the penalties happen, we need you to maintain your composure, and in that chaos, in that inner point chaos, make the necessary moves that you need to make to take the advantage in that chaos. Regardless of score, 7-3, Akron's still up over FSU. We'll be right back after this. So still penalties on the clock right now for Florida State University. The Seminoles, 1 minute and 13 seconds left on that penalty. 8 minutes and 37 seconds to play. Let's check in with Amy on the sidelines.
Yeah, Maddie, real quick, one of the Akron guys just looked me square in the eyes and said, tell him to watch this play. If it works, it'll be epic. So keep an eye out for what is about to go down right now.
Well, all right, let's say. Don't talk about it, be about it. I can't wait to see it. But I'm glad they gave us a little bit of insight, because now if we look at Akron, see what they're able to do with this play, they have a couple points to play with here as they're up 4 against the Seminoles. So the Zips almost start early, and then here comes, it looks like a big play all the way up the center. Is he going to continue through? Well, he gets to the center 50 at the A, and then launches past it. Here he comes. Boom, gets 1. Is he able to get another? And he's still alive. And it gets a major penalty on Florida State. So, wow, amazing job. They called their shot. And that amazing run-through up the center. Todd, we saw so many of those run-throughs in Dallas. Maybe they watched the webcast, because this is the same field layout. And what a perfectly executed play by Akron right there. Let's watch this replay. Now look at the center of your screen. Here he comes on the run-through, realizes no one's picked him up yet, gets all the way into the backfield, turns around to count the bodies, switches hands, and then switches back to his right hand to take out that last player. And there's the dead portion center of your screen. Here he comes. You can see a little bit of audio on it. As soon as he sees that body drop and realizes no one shoot at him and that gun is switched, boom, comes and executes that guy. And then 1 player left alive in the snake for Florida State University. So what an impressive play. They called their shot. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was going to do it. I thought we were going to see something a little bit crazier. He actually did a good job of getting up to that center and then shooting the player right in front of him and then launching. That's just good reactive paintball right there. You know, I thought maybe we were going to see like a triple reverse flying V, you know, aerial ground attack.
I thought it was a double Lutz handspring roundoff.
No, they did that like a couple points ago.
Into the one-hand gangster assassination.
Oh, yeah, you got to add that second part on there. You know, sometimes when you're trying to run that with that twist move, you know, but, you know, that was kind of epic, kind of, you know.
Yeah, well, let's check with the judges. Ooh, and the Russian judge, so tough, only 7.2 on that one.
Oh, man, that
yeah,
guy.
Frustrating. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you know those Russian judges, man. You know, they're a little shady.
Yeah. It's kind of tough out there, you know, tough crowd.
Yeah, well, hey, man, FSU needs to get it together, because they are badly losing this game now. 8-3 is the score. They still have some time, though. 8 minutes and 13 seconds to play. Can they come back? Well, damn, it looked like Akron got a penalty on that as well.
Yeah,
Was it
I mean, the
the
player that ran through bunkered the tower, and the referee gave the tower player a major for spinning, I guess. But, you know, that last play, you know, they shoot the one guy out of the Dorito side cam. They shot a body on the break on the snake side, and, you know, that's what really just what opened up, you know, the door for the player to come through the middle of the field. But, I mean, Florida State, I mean, gosh, they're just killing themselves right now, it seems like, point after point.
Well, again, knowing that the refs are being tough out there and there's no quarter given by the referees, you really got to not play the gray area. You know, the gray area is where you're running out to your bunker, you feel a hit register in your mind as you're making your way forward to your bunker. Well, out here today, well, when that happens, if that thing broke, well, there's a good chance you're going to get a major penalty. So instead of getting your bunker and railing off a couple shots and then checking yourself, what you really should do is get your bunker, immediately check yourself or call a referee over. Not happening a lot today, which is why we're seeing a lot of these penalties. But the referees are setting the tempo, so the players will learn, they'll adjust, and we'll probably see a cleaner day tomorrow. Well, I would hope so, and because though it does make it very entertaining for us and everyone at home watching out there, it makes it really hard on your team when you're getting a lot of penalties.
Yeah, I mean, the players that got to go back there, yeah, you know, we talk about how it's an opportunity, you know, to try and shift momentum, but, you know, you play the percentages and, you know, just having more players out there on the field, more bodies, you know, it's always better to have, you know, 5 strong out there, you know, when you're battling a good team.
I mean, hey, yeah, absolutely. Regardless of the opportunity to swing the momentum that a penalty on you presents, regardless, the percentages, like you said, Todd, when you look at the stats, it doesn't shake down well when you're playing 4-on-5. However, you still got to keep that in your mind because you don't want to, just because you have your penalty, start rolling over in points. And you do see that happen sometimes. But that's all about letting letting those problems seep into your confidence, which is the exact opposite of what you need. You know, we always used to say, don't get down, get up. You know, so yeah, they may be beating the brakes off us right now. We may be getting a lot of penalties, but there's still 8 minutes and 13 seconds left to go. So we have an opportunity in front of us, and that is to go out there, get to our bunkers alive, shoot somebody off the break, and then eat through those penalties, put a point on the board, try to get back in this match.
Yeah, it's starting with 3 bodies and leaving one of them in the back center to try and get a kill. Just gets chopped up. So it's just 2 bodies split out to the corners for Florida State. Able to get out there alive, but losing their middle guy. So starting with 2 bodies in the box, one of them's getting ready to come out. He comes out right now, goes to the Dorito side, actually gets out alive, continues to play on, and gets a major penalty. So that's going to get him killed and his buddy right next to him. So just 1 body left alive for Florida State, but you know, after all the time they've spent playing down bodies this match, kind of getting used to it out here.
Yeah. Well, they've mastered getting penalties, that's for sure.
Yeah. If getting penalties was a good thing, then they'd be doing a great job at it.
Yeah, so
they're just getting oh, sometimes you might want to just walk out on that.
Oh, God, that was bad. That was about as bad as it gets. So Florida, they had an opportunity to get a body out of that box, but the guy that was in the box had just completely went to sleep on the fact that Akron had just run down their back player. He was still alive and was gunned up on him, waiting, begging for the opportunity to just riddle his side with paint, which is exactly what happened. And man, that was about as bad as it gets. Let's see if we can get a replay here. So looking at, there's the last run through, and then he's like, okay, yeah, that's the last guy run around, and then wait a second. Oh, let me look at the clock. Oh, yeah, this guy's going to walk right out into my stream. Awesome.
Didn't even shoot at him. He was shooting at the guys downfield. The guy standing right next to him just torched him.
Gives him a little thumbs up after the torching.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Florida is falling apart at the seams here. My Lord. 9-3 is the score. Akron trying to get to double digits. 7 minutes and 11 seconds to go in this match. And we'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors. So with a penalty-heavy match here and while we were at that commercial break speaking with Todd. Now, you can tell by body language and how much arguing is going on if the players feel like they deserve the penalties or not. Once you see a lot of majors start flying like we've been seeing, if guys start really pleading their case a lot, then that means that, okay, well, maybe that call, now that is not always the case, because a lot of guys will plead their case regardless of even if they just blatantly cheated. But you know, hey man, this is a sport like any other. You know, sometimes you're watching a football game, there's more holding calls, but regardless, it always hurts your team. So, you know, Florida is, and now Florida gets a bad start. So I don't know what's going on in the Florida pits, but Florida is just falling, like literally just cracking and falling apart right now. And you can just really see that the weakness starts, the mental weakness starts to seep in here. I mean, they got a bad start. They've been getting tons of penalties. You can also see the frustrated body language and, you know, dipping their heads when they're walking off. Slow walks off the field.
Yeah, the slow walk off the field is the #1 indicator that your mental toughness has been challenged.
It kind of looks like, you know, when you send a child to their room for a timeout, and that's kind of what it looks like when these guys are walking off the field right now.
I've been good, man. I haven't been putting time out in a couple weeks, you know.
So the game running away from Florida State. Akron really just making some smart moves right now, rolling their guns. They don't need to do much.
Right in the side of the face, Akron wears it, and the 50 snake. But here comes the referee from the snake side of the field, thinks he saw something on the Dorito side, runs all the way across. Florida State with 2 bodies, one on the Dorito side, one on the snake side. Akron with a body over here in the snake side temple, the inside 40 Dorito, and the snake side, or the Dorito side can. Florida State actually in a point over here, and they should have a body coming out of the box in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, but Akron really slowed it down. I mean, all they're really doing is just getting into spots and controlling lanes. And then when they see an obvious move, taking that move, but really trying not to take too many risks in their, even in their gunfights and in their moves as well. Body coming out for the Seminoles. He gets blown to bits. I think he traded out, though, with the center player for the Zips.
Yeah, after serving back-to-back life sentences. And that box comes out and finally contributes, gets a kill. But now it looks like the Florida State player is about to get run down twice. But, oh, looks like a referee is going to call a penalty. Hopefully it's not on Florida State, but...
Well, his coach is right there. He should be telling him that this player is trying to close the gap on him. And then he runs around, and I think got the drop on him, and he did. So
I think he was dead anyway, but the referee just decided not to pull him because it was already over. I think it was over because there was only 2 bodies left alive, and the Florida State player got a major in that Dorito over there on the side, the Dorito side of the field. So, you know, this player was actually already dead before that exchange even happened. You know, check out this replay. You know, you're going to see 2 players from Akron. Here comes one of them down the inside, bam, wear it. And then on the outside, bam, you wear it again. But the first one is the one that he got the major for. So, you know, when the guy with the skinny jeans came on the inside, he bunkered him. He had no idea he was coming. He turned an inside shot at him, and that's what he got the major for.
Yeah, so now that we've been watching Florida State fall apart here in this penalty fest, let's check in with Amy Campbell. She's down in their pits.
Yeah, you guys mentioned it, falling apart in a penalty fest, and they're well aware of that. The body language says it. Like you said, heads are hanging low, very frustrated. There's a lot of tension in the air, not communicating well, getting very angry with each other, and continuing to talk about how frustrating those penalties are and that they have been arguing with the refs over them. So definitely the wheels are coming off over here. Hopefully they can turn it around and at least have a little bit of fun with the time remaining, guys.
Wheels came off, the bumper came off, the muffler's a couple miles back. You know, the thing is that, like, when everybody's getting penalties, you can't come unglued on each other.
Well, I was just going to say the same thing. When chaos reigns and it's getting insane, what you need to do is try to refocus and not continue to just dump gasoline on that inferno by screaming at each other in the pits and just setting off emotional bombs where everything has just been simmering out there and you get angry because guys are getting penalties and coming unglued on each other. So, you know, it's that time when that's when the leaders are important.
Yeah.
That's when the guys start screaming at each other, you're not agreeing with calls, game plans aren't working. Well, the leaders need to step up, and the coaches, whoever it is in that pit, that's the senior member over there, the elder statesman needs to say, look, that's when you need to kind of yell back at the guys and say, look, let's not start going at each other. We're having a hard enough time as it is. Let's maintain our composure and try to get it together out here. So
Florida State going to start with 4 bodies this match, though. and actually get to all their spots alive. Akron loses their snake player on the break. Coming out here, 3 bodies over on the Dorito side for Akron. But Florida State loses their Dorito corner player. And Akron makes a bump back into the snake, so he's going to get into the 50, take control. And kind of still has an opportunity to get some kills across the field. Florida State player comes across as well. They have the snake corner and now the mini race behind the snake, and he gets shot and he's going to get a minor. And I do not know what is happening over here for Florida State. I don't think they're playing many points without getting penalties. But this is really going to be tough on Florida State.
Well, I mean,
just to try and come back for this. Once this game's over, you got to put this game to the side.
Yeah.
And refocus, you know. But
well, maybe the only thing I can possibly think of with this many penalties, there's only 2 options. One, they're just some of the most flagrant cheaters I've ever seen play paintball, which you know, and I don't think that's the way it is, because you don't want to, you know, you're not going out there trying to get penalties, obviously. So I don't think it's that. But you know what it might be, and Todd, I don't know what you think about this, but you know, when you play a lot of practice and you're not really getting actually reffed, you know, you're reffing yourselves, or maybe guys from other teams are reffing you, but everyone's really focusing more on playing the game. Maybe they just in practice they've just haven't really been playing a lot of events with real refs, and then you come out here and the refs are super strict, and they're just having a hard time adjusting to the strictness of the referees out here. Regardless, it doesn't matter. We haven't seen a point that Florida hasn't got a penalty. I can't even remember the last time. So the score is a lot to a little, 11-3 after a really close game when we started out. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial message. All right, so Todd, let's take a bet. As we get back to the action here with 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go, score 11-3. What are the odds that we're going to play 3 minutes and 40 seconds with no penalties?
Man, I'm going to have to, there's no chance. There's going to be a penalty.
Could even give me a number?
No.
501? So here we go on the breakout. The Seminoles try to make the snake off the break, and they do. And then on your screen right there, you see Akron Zips. They make the snake, but the Seminoles, they lose their player after he tries to crawl past the yellow portion of the field. The Zips able to get to the 50-yard line in the center, but they get taken out, pushing the D side. They now have a player in the snake as well, too. So in good field position for Akron right now. Seminoles, only 2 bodies left alive, and those bodies are in both back corner bunkers on the D side and on the snake side.
Florida State over here in the snake side corner getting grilled up from across the field. That 40 Dorito for Akron gets a nice shot in across the field. 1 body coming out of the box now for Florida State. He is going to get lit up by somebody. And then on the go again, Skinny Jeans on the move, going and bunkering out that Dorito side corner of Florida State. I think he might have even gotten a 2-pack there. Went and got that mini Dorito and went and got the Dorito side corner. So Akron, you know, able to put another point up on the board, really just run it up right now on Florida State with 2:32 left to go. Check out this replay. Here he comes right there. Looks much faster with them tight jeans on. Gets the first kill out of the mini Dorito, then gets that second out of that Dorito side corner. So good job recognizing that the 2 players were in a line, running straight down at them, gun up. Bunkers the first one, bunkers the second one. Good fundamentals there by Akron.
Yeah, well done there on the fundamentals. And That's important stuff, because if you drop your gun in the middle of a run through, what you're doing is allowing your opposition to potentially come out real quick on a snapshot. That's just a real quick shot where you come out very quickly within a half second, put a ball on your opposition. And when you drop your gun in the middle of a run through, sometimes you allow your opposing player to get a shot on you. But hey, like you said, Todd, great fundamentals, got himself a 2-pack, those 2 confirmed kills there to end that point. And running the score up now, equaling the score that Liberty Flames put up against East Carolina Pirates, though that game was a lot closer than this matchup has kind of shooken out here, as 2 minutes and 32 seconds to go in regulation time. And then we're going to take a lunch break, and then we're going to head back with some more NCPA action. Penn State Nittany Lions going to be taking on Tennessee Volunteers, 2 legendary teams here in the college leagues, as both those teams have done well historically. But, you know, it's a new year, and you never really know when you come to the championship games here who's going to step up. So, you know, is it going to be Penn State, Tennessee? We will find out. And the next game after that, Florida Atlantic Owls versus the Temple Owls. So the 2 Owls will be fighting each other. And then the Cal State Long Beach 49ers, who have won championship before, are going to take on Connecticut Huskies, who've also won a championship. And then to close the day out, West Point Black Knights and Central Florida Knights. So we got the Owls versus the Owls and the Knights versus the Knights. I mean, is there only like a limited pool of names that you're allowed to choose from, or what?
I don't think there's another Zips.
Yeah, very true. So on the break here, Akron able to take the 50 in the center and also on the snake side. And Florida continuing to struggle, losing a body in the center. They lose another one. Both of those players coming off from the center. 3 players left alive for Florida State. They have 1 on the back bunker, in the back bunker on the D side. As we fall under the 2-minute mark here. And really, Akron doesn't have to do anything. They haven't had to do much for a while, other than let Florida get penalties and then just shoot a couple bodies and score another point. But, you know, now they're obviously going to win this match. So now they're just kind of playing for fun out there, doing some run-throughs. Oh, a little trip and a fall. And it looks like he did get that kill, though, before he got taken out. Yeah, kind of a hard fall.
It's not one thing, it's another. You know, Florida State makes it into that snake 1 finally, and then the guy's gun goes down. Player from Akron comes to run him down. His loader's on the ground. He's got to spin and try and shoot him with 1 ball that he just picked up into the dirt. Man, Florida State, they're just going to need to forget that this game ever happened.
Yeah, we talk about that selective amnesia, where you really sometimes just got to pretend that, okay, well, we did play a game this morning, but I'm not going to think much about that, other than to try to learn the lessons of the match. And the biggest thing is they just need to play clean. You know, we don't even really know how well Florida could play because, you know, Florida State University just getting so many penalties. You look at that run down there, and Todd, like you were saying, he had loaders on the ground. So when he sees the body coming, he has to whip his gun around. He actually doesn't even have the gun in the right hand to really get the quickest, you know, switch of the hands. And 13
didn't get a penalty for that.
Yeah, so we got ourselves a 10-point spread here, 13-3, with just about a minute to go. And we'll be right back after this message. So just a minute to play in the second half of this Akron versus FSU matchup. And the story of this game is just been a penalty-filled match for Florida. They just have not been able to play clean. Akron really taking advantage of that. And about 36 seconds to go before the start of this next point. Again, then we're going to take a lunch break, and we'll be back for Penn State Nittany Lions taking on the Tennessee Volunteers. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the afternoon bracket, because a lot of teams that have done well historically in the NCPA tournaments are playing this afternoon. And also, word on the street is that the Florida Atlantic Owls look awesome this year, and they have Travis Madrid on that team, which is one of the best players in this tournament. So looking forward to see what he's going to be able to do. And it looks like a timeout has been called as Florida is trying to do a little bit more homework here before this match ends. and prolong the agony. We'll be right back after this. So you're looking at Florida State University Seminoles. They already have five players out, getting ready to play this next point, and the Zips are finally taking the field here. 28 seconds to go before the start of what should be the last point. Though you never know. Lots of fast points out here on this crazy layout. Love this layout. Saw so many good games in Dallas at the PSP for their inaugural event of the season. And we're probably going to see a lot more here at this event, Todd. We've seen lots of aggressive action here in the Snake, lots of tactical gunfights over on the D side, and some cool moves up the center, too. I think that teams will start embracing the center moves a little bit more as the tournament progresses, because it really can work. Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff we have yet to see from the teams out here. We've only watched 4 games so far, but, I mean, this field, there are so many different things that you can do. But, you know, if you're out here and you're winning games, just keep going with what's working. You know, if Florida State's going to get penalties and allow you to get in the Snake and shoot them, then that's what Akron needs to do. You know, we watched some of these other games this morning, you know, where Fresno State and UConn were going back and forth. That was really, you know, the biggest battle back and forth, just, you know, a constant chess match. But, you know, Liberty, after getting down to ECU, they just came back out and just hammered them up the middle, down the Snake, down the Snake, down the Snake, up the middle, down the Snake. You know, like, you just got to do what's working for you. Kennesaw State, shooting bodies on the break, beating Cornell, and then just powering down the Snake, down the Snake, down the Snake. You know, whatever's working, whatever you got to do to get that win, that's all that matters. If you win by 1 point, but you had to go all over the field to get it, cool. If you ran the same play every single time and you win, cool. Whatever's working for you. Yeah, and consistency out here is something that can be picked up on sometimes and countered, but if it's not being countered and it's working, keep rolling with it. And here you see in that replay, the last players in a really good field position for the Zips as they were able to get to that 50-yard line Snake. We've seen tons of guys get there too, because it's a very makeable Snake. The back corner bunker on that side of the field is actually harder to make than the Snake is, really. Both of these corners. Yeah, both the corners on the D side, which is the far side on your screen. The Snake side is the big, long structure, bunker structure here. It's going to be the bottom portion of your screen. But with looks like 10 seconds to go here, the beating will continue until morale improves, has pretty much been the mantra for Akron Zips right now, as they are just been putting it on Florida State University, who has had no answer whatsoever for their penalty problem. And it's actually got worse as the game progressed, kind of peaking about 5 minutes in the game time ago. Completely ridiculous beating by Akron Zips over Florida State University. And it looks like Amy Campbell has Justin Politi from the Akron Zips.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Justin Politi. You may have seen him making some plays out there with the name Patron on the jersey, but this is Justin Politi. Very dominant win for you guys. Take me through the whole thing. How was it for you?
It was fun, really. We were just trying to keep it casual, you know. It's whatever. We're just out here living, having a good time, just hanging out with our friends. We really had contributions from everyone on the team here. Once we got up about 5, we put all of our freshmen in. They were getting some good spins. They played really well. So, I mean, that's really about it.
And you guys are now 2-0. You have Cal State Long Beach next. How have those two victories given you some momentum heading into that tough matchup?
The momentum is definitely good, always a good thing, but we're not worried about Cal State. I mean, they're a great team, but they're really cool guys. I've been actually hanging out with them a little bit, and they're really cool guys. But, you know, we're going to have to go beat them. It's unfortunate, but that's what we're going to have to do. So I'm really looking forward to the match, though.
It's unfortunate that you're going to have to beat them.
Unfortunate for them.
Unfortunate for them. Well, best of luck to you in that one. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, man, they should definitely pat themselves on the back as the University of Akron Zips take a dominant win over Florida State University Seminoles. We have a full afternoon of NCPA action coming at you, so stick around for Penn State Nittany Lions and the Tennessee Volunteers. Coming up next, I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.